Hello, my culinary friends, and welcome to another edition of Papa Bojo's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making crispy skinned salmon along with crab cakes with a nice lemon cream sauce. So get your pencil, get your piece of paper. You're not going to want to miss how to make this one. The first thing we're going to start off with is we're going to start off with the salmon. And these are extremely thin fillets. I mean, this is near the tail. So these cook up very, very quick, so you got to be careful. I will probably do another episode when I have a nice thick piece of salmon to go through, but you'll get the idea from this. The first thing you want to do, if you can see it, is you want to put slits, not too deep, but as you want to slit the salmon skin on your pieces. And the reason for that is if you don't, the salmon will start curling up and you won't get a nice, flat, nice, crisp skin. All right, so first thing you want to do, and you want to make sure you get all the moisture off of it as much as you can. And you're going to flip it over onto the flesh side, and we're going to season it with some fresh ground black pepper and some kosher salt. You want the rockiness of the kosher salt for this instead of the real fine salt. And press that in a little bit, then flip them over. Again, pat the skin down. You want the skin to be nice and dry, okay? And then here, we're going to put the rest of the black pepper. Put the black pepper first. And then we're going to put, quite liberally, more though than the other side, more of that nice rock salt or kosher salt. And the reason for that is you need that salt to help draw out the moisture and to help make that skin extra crispy. So what we're going to do is we're going to set that aside. Once you do that, you're going to set it aside for a few minutes, which that's perfect because now we can assemble the crab cake mixture. One more thing I do want to say about salmon, whenever you're going to cook it, take it out of the fridge about 10 to 15 minutes earlier to bring it up a little closer to room temperature. So the meat doesn't, or the fish doesn't get stressed when you put it in a piping hot pan, which we're going to do with this. So now for the crab cakes. The crab cakes, we're going to take 6 ounces of crab meat. This can be lump crab meat, it can be shredded crab meat, it can be canned crab meat, whatever you want. I mean, it's yours, you make it what you want. Then we're going to have 2 tablespoons of celery. We're going to have a half a tablespoon of parsley. We're going to have a little less than a quarter teaspoon of salt. We're going to have a half teaspoon of Old Bay. And we're going to have a half a teaspoon of dill. And then finally, 3 tablespoons of breadcrumbs. I like using Italian breadcrumbs. You don't have to. You can use just plain. But I like the extra flavor and seasoning that's in the Italian breadcrumbs. So we're going to put all that in. And we're going to get a spoon, and we're going to mix all this up with the crab meat to start off. So you can see I'm just generally mixing all this together. Then we're going to add, it's about a half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and we're going to add 3/4 of a tablespoon of mayo. We're going to stir that up. Get that all nice and mixed in there. Next thing we're going to do, and I forgot to get this out, but we've got to put some Worcestershire sauce in here. So we open up the fridge. And I need about, a 1/4 of a teaspoon. So just more or less a quick shake, if you will, of that. And then the last ingredient will be 1 egg. And the egg is going to bind everything together. So we're going to put that egg in, and now we're going to mix this up. And you can see it'll all start coming together. If you're like me, you can use a spoon, or I actually like to start getting my hands. I did wash my hands before this, so my hands are nice and clean. And so I'm going to take and mix all this together. And it comes together, it's a pretty moist mixture, but you want to make sure you get all the ingredients, especially that mayonnaise and the Dijon, all nice and ready. So then what we're going to do with this is we're going to take this and we're going to make a nice ball. We're going to flatten it out. We're going to make a patty. We're going to take the rest of it. This will give you two pretty nice sized patties. So we're going to flatten that out. And we'll place this on the plate right here. The next phase is frying these puppies up and cooking them. So now we're ready to fry these. What we're going to do is we're going to take the salmon and we're going to take it, and you've got to have a hot pan with the oil really hot for the crispy skin. And what we're going to do, we're going to place it down, and you can hear it sizzling. We're just going to push it with our fingers, skin side down first. And we're going to let that go. And what you're going to be looking for is as soon as the color halfway up the flesh of the salmon is cooked or starts turning opaque or pink, when it's halfway done up there, that's when you'll be ready to flip it. Likewise, I'm going to take this patty, and I'm hoping that this pan is hot enough. I'm going to put this patty in here and start cooking it as well. Again, it's important that you keep an eye on it and shake it a little bit, make sure the skin isn't sticking. And then you can go ahead and lift it up a little bit and make sure you got some oil underneath there. Make sure that that is cooking all nice and real and fine. I don't know if you can see, but it's about a quarter of the way up the flesh. It doesn't take that long. If you have a nice thick piece of salmon, usually it'll take about 7 or 8 minutes to cook that. This will be cooked a lot less because this is a very thin piece. This is near the tail of the salmon. That's where this was taken from. So as you go down more towards the tail, the salmon tends to thin out and you get a thinner piece. The meat still tastes great. All that stuff is good. It's just a thinner piece. So I'm looking, and we still got a little bit to go. We want to make sure that that skin is nice and crispy, because if you're going to use the skin, it's got to be crispy. If it's not, and it's just like soggy, it just doesn't taste very good. So we're going to check this out. It's about halfway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this. And the skin, I touched the skin, and the skin's still not quite as crispy as I want it. So what I'm going to do is, while the rest of this is cooking, I'm going to actually take and spoon this hot oil over it. To keep the skin cooking as well. And I actually am going to as well flip this over. It looks like it's getting close to done. And although you don't want to continue flip-flopping your salmon, in this case here, because my oil wasn't as hot with this cooktop as I wanted it to be, I am going to flip it over. And I'm going to crisp it up just a little bit more. Within about a minute or so, this should be nice and crisp. And again, while that's crispy, just to make sure, I'm going to take and baste the flesh on this side too. And actually, it's looking pretty good right now. On the soon as that skin crisps up, it will be done. This crab cake is taking a while. As a matter of fact, I'm going to move this over and switch burners here. Only because this burner here has a much higher temperature that it can reach, and so that'll cook this crab cake much quicker as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of paper towel. I'm going to fold it, put it on a plate, because like a steak, yeah, that's where I want it. Like a good steak, you want to take your salmon and you want it to rest. And that's what we're doing with that right now. Got a little piece here. I'll flip that over there. Don't want it to go to waste. And while that's cooking, I'm going to make the cream sauce in this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this out, dump the oil out. Wipe it down just a little bit. And for this cream sauce, what we have is 1.5 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to put in right now. And we'll get this moving around. I'm actually going to turn the heat down a little bit. Check on this crab cake. I think that one side is done. Flip it over. Oh yeah. Hey, now that's a crab cake, eh? So we got this butter. The butter's melted. I'm turning it down. I'm going to add to the butter, I'm going to add 1 clove of diced garlic. I'm going to just get that going. If you could smell, you know what I'm talking about if you've ever put butter and garlic together. Incredible smell. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of cream. I'm going to add this 1/4 cup of cream. I'm going to whisk it in a little bit. Add the lemon juice. And that lemon juice was about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, real lemon. And then about 1/2 teaspoon of dill. So I'm just bringing this together. Well, that crab cake looks like it's coming together real good. I'm going to just bring this up to a slight boil to thicken it. Now I'm going to turn it way down. Even take it off the heat. This is intended to be a nice thin cream sauce. And it's going to add just that little bit of acidity with a little bit of that creamy flavor to the plating of the salmon. Okay, now with this, I think, see, the salmon patty is done. Turn the heat off there. And when we're just about ready with this, now it's time for plating. So now it's time to plate the crispy skinned salmon, the crab cake, and the lemon cream sauce. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some lemon cream sauce here, and we're going to put it and swirl it around on the plate. Okay, that's going to be the base for this crab cake. Put the crab cake right in the center like that. And then we're going to drizzle some more of this wonderful sauce. We're going to drizzle it over this crab cake. Then we're going to take the salmon and we're going to put the salmon just right over it. Now, what we will not do, because we spent the time to make this skin nice and crispy on the salmon, what we won't do is put any of that cream sauce over it, because all that's going to do is take the work that you put into making that salmon skin nice and crispy, and it's going to soggy it up. So we'll take and we'll look and see, okay, I think there's enough sauce, or I actually like a little bit more. I like to be able to dip as I'm cutting the salmon, as well as the crab cakes. I like to more or less dip it in and get all of that flavor of that nice cream sauce in. So, there you have it. This is crispy skin salmon with crab cakes with a lemon cream sauce. Brought to you by Papa Bojo's Kitchen. I hope you try this, because it is the Lenten season, and I know everybody likes to go get fish and chips, but if you try doing this at home, you can make a dinner for 4 of this for a heck of a lot less than going out. Not that I'm opposed to going out and supporting our restaurants, because I do, but give this a try. I think you might like it. Try to get a closer look at this. And there you go. All the way around. As always, thank you for watching another episode of Papa Bojo's Kitchen. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me some feedback. Most importantly, if you're watching on YouTube, look straight down, scroll down, and see the red subscribe letters. Click subscribe for me, please. It doesn't cost a penny, and it just gets you, whenever I post anything on YouTube, it'll go right to you. You'll see it right up on your Facebook page. So again, thank you again for watching Papa Bojo's Kitchen, and I hope to see you in our next episode. Buon appetito. Bye.